Well, the second week of the Battlefield Open Beta is here, and I gotta say, it has me disappointed. The first week of the beta had me motivated, captivated, and enthralled me to play every second I could. And unfortunately, that feeling is going away. It is fading. Like I think the hype is for this game. Don't get me wrong, the hype is still here, but there are some concerns coming up now, and that is to do with the game itself. How it feels. Conquest to me right now doesn't feel like Conquest. It feels like Ground War from Call of Duty. That's a big concern. When I first played Ground War for the first time in Modern Warfare 2, I thought this is a very cool adaptation of what Battlefield feels like. A bigger, sprawling battle that's happening amongst the map. However, it couldn't fully deliver as it was lacking. And what was it lacking? Well, the vehicle gameplay, such as the helicopters, the tanks, the aircraft, had dogfighting in the air. Yes, that game mode in the game had vehicles, but it didn't live up to the adaptation of what Battlefield is. And that's all the warfare combined into one map. And that's what Conquest is starting to feel like to me in Battlefield 6. Hell, all the other game modes are following suit, which disappoints me. And to add insult to injury, the famous game mode Rush is no longer Rush. It's a smaller mode. It doesn't give you that adrenaline pumping feeling when there's 32 of you trying to get to an objective with bullets flying, grenades blowing up, C4, smoke, motors coming in. It's null and void. It's just another small game mode. No cool moments. There's not even enough players to mount a proper attacking force, or vice versa, a defending force. So many times I'll be playing and they'd get around us when they shouldn't have been able to. There's just simply not enough players on the maps. I'm not saying to make the map smaller, I'm saying the opposite. Get more players in that game mode, at least 32. That would give you at least another squad to, hold down a lane. The maps in this game aren't exactly 3 lanes, like typical FPS games. Don't get me wrong, there's 3 distinct lanes, but they're always interconnecting. There's different flanking routes, which I would say most gamers do enjoy. It adds more of a flexibility. You can have cool flanking routes. That being said though, in Rush, there simply isn't enough players on each team to utilize these routes at all. Made some buddies a couple days ago actually went back and played BF4 Rush with 64 players of odd nighttime. And some of the flanking routes we could go on is just untouchable compared to BF6. A 13-year-old game should not have that ability to outperform a newer game. And where did it outperform? Well, when we perform these flanking routes, there's actually people to contest us. So instead of just being one person like there'd be now, there's sometimes a full squad, maybe 3 squads there that we have to fight through to get to the objective. Felt more rewarding, more immersive. Not just a walk in the park, it felt like you actually earned getting to that objective. Unlike now, if you were to flank, there may be one person there. You kill that person, boom, on the objective. It's too easy. Now I'm not saying it has to be like Operation Metro or Operation Locker where it's 32v32 and everywhere you go it's a chokehold. What I'm saying is the more players would fill the space which Russia needs. Now I understand the game doesn't come out until October the 10th, so they have tons of room to make changes where it needs to be. But it seems to be a trending theme where the game modes are smaller, much more condensed, not Battlefield-esque, more Call of Duty-esque, which is unfortunate. Those issues aside though, the game is still lots of fun to play. I don't want this video to come across doom and gloom. I do think this game's going to be successful, but it just needs to have a more Battlefield feeling. And I hope with the full game, there's bigger rush modes, bigger conquest maps, just overall more grander vision of what the game's supposed to be. Now that we have the game modes out of the way, let's talk about the gunplay. Overall, the guns are fun to use, However, once you get a few attachments on there, they're all laser beams. Even the harder hitting ARs are laser beams. Now SMGs, I think, they should kind of keep them how they are, but the equivalent to the HK-417, once you get a foregrip on their muzzle brake, it is like shooting a laser gun. That hits like a freight train going 100 miles per hour. It doesn't seem like it's balanced at all. Because the SMGs sometimes can take a half mag to kill somebody, and these higher caliber guns take a fraction of that sometimes. It's super inconsistent, just like the time to kill is in this game. 1 minute takes a bullet, next minute takes a half a magazine, next time it takes a full magazine. It doesn't add up. Just like how DMRs are a 3-shot kill sometimes, or a 2-shot kill. No DMR should be 3 shots. With the EBR, the first starting gun, it's 1 shot to the head and still 2 shots to thorax. Unless the game's messing up for me, it's not registering my shots. But then I go to the next DMR and it's 2-shot or 1-shot headshot. I get there needs to be progression, but I feel like no DMR should be 3-shotting. It should all be 2 shots, or 1 shot to the head, end of story. Just like the snipers in this game, if you get a headshot, they're done. But the DMRs feel like they were put into the game and then forgotten about. And they just, they'll do the trick, but it's this weird middle ground where the DMR doesn't make a lot of sense to use sometimes. So you just grab a assault rifle, put an ACOG scope on it, and you just fire a burst down range and you get somebody. Seems like the DMR should be the weapon to use for that in that scenario, but it's not always the case. It's the point now where I barely see anyone using a DMR. It's only sniper rifles or longer range rifles. That's unfortunate. You should be able to hop into a class and use a DMR and not feel at a disadvantage. At medium range, you should be at an advantage. So those are my thoughts so far on the beta. Overall, I am enjoying the game. Just a few concerns I do have, and I hope they get ironed out. Anyways, let me know what you guys think down below. Am I right? Am I wrong? As always, thank you for watching, and as always, have fun while gaming.